Welcome to Camo Kev. So tonight is a little review video based on two thermals, budget and then the top end of the market. This is just purely from experience on what I've seen and experienced from owning this one, the Hike Hick, and then kindly being loaned this one by Greenfield Guns in Salisbury, which is the Helion XQ50f. Both thermal spotters, both meant to do the same job, but drastically different results. All right, so let's get into it. So the Hick, so this is the entry level, 6mm. They do different sizes, 6, 10, 15, 35. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I know they go up a couple of different sensor sizes, and that'll give you different range detection, clarity. When you download footage, all these things have recording ability, but we'll get into that in a second. But you know, whenever you pull the footage off, depending on the money, I'm sure it's going to make the difference. I can't talk from experience from any of the other Hick models, but this one I have owned. So this is the Hick Lynx 6mm. So this is the sort of entry level one for them. Let's get out of the box. Lovely packaging, to be honest. Even if you're spending, this is, I'll go for the price for each when I go. This is 400 to 470. I think I paid 449 for mine, but you can get them second hand cheap. But if you want to buy it new, you're looking at around 450 quid. So it's a nice box. Same with most things. You get an instruction manual, microfiber cloth, and a little bag. That's the receipt. You don't want to see that. Nice foam packaging. And then inside you've got the unit itself. Let's get that out of the way because you don't just see that anymore. I've put a lanyard on this because I've been using it obviously in the field. But initially it comes with just this little lanyard here. Hopefully you can see that. Nice little foam box inside here. Inside here there is neoprene. So it's like a neoprene case for it, which is handy. Keeps it dry, protects it if you're going to knock it around a little bit. And there is a USB-C, I think it is, charger comes with it for charging purposes. I was going to get them both out together, but let's just do one at a time. So the 6mm, nice and small, fits in your hand lovely, really lightweight, and it feels like quality. The build quality is good, you know, it feels great. With this one, the only focus you have is the actual screen itself. So this little knob here, that will focus when you got it to your eye, just to give you the right sort of, depending on your vision, will sort out how it looks. At the front, there's no front focus. There's a nice little cover there to keep the screen safe, the lens safe. Pop that back on, and then you have the power button itself. So you power on. You know, you're talking about a maybe 3-4 second power on time. And then it'll take a second or so to adjust before you can start actually messing with the color palettes and the menu options. This does have internal 8 gig memory, so you can record, you can take pictures. It doesn't do sound, this one, but you don't really necessarily need it. So if you're out and about in the field, you can record what you're looking at with this button here. So you sort of click it once to get your photo and you hold it down and that'll give you your video. And you'll see when you're looking through the screen. I will upload footage. You'll see through the video as I'm talking. I'll try and get some bits up so you can see what's going on. And then you have the menu button here. Lots of different features in there. So you've got the color palettes. You've got, because it's got internal Wi-Fi, so you can turn that on or off. And then zoom. I think it's 4 times zoom on this one. Correct me if I'm wrong, but just from memory, I think that's what it is. Obviously, the more you zoom in, the clarity of the image is gonna degrade. It's not gonna be as good, but you can't go wrong. I mean, 450 quid with this. The amount of features it has, the battery life is fantastic in this. I'd say, they say 10 hours, and I wouldn't argue with it. I mean, I've had this out 3 or 4 days on the trot after fully charging it, and it's never gone flat. It's great, fits nice, it's small. Yeah. Distance wise, of course, entry level, so you can't expect too much. If you're an air gunner and you're out rat shooting rabbits 30, 40, 50, 60 yards, this is going to be the one you want. It's going to be great to them distances. You are going to be able to detect and identify a rat up to 30-40 yards easy. I have been out deer stalking with this, and up to 100 yards, maybe more, you can tell there's heat sources. But if you want to identify something accurately at that distance, this isn't going to be the one for you. But you can see there's heat sources, so I'm not going to lie, it does the job. But it depends, you know, you can't spend 450 quid on a thermal spotter and expect clarity at 1,000 yards. Like I said, video, the photo. The one thing I will say with this is you can't view it within this, but there is an app. So there's a couple of different apps. They've actually brought out their own one recently. I'll put a link or I'll put a picture of it so you can see what it is. They have different ones, but you can record, switch the Wi-Fi on, so you can actually have this in one hand, the phone in the other, and you can view, you can put this on a tripod. So it's got a tripod attachment here, so you can screw this onto a tripod. You can have it sat there in front of you and use it as a spot like that if you want, and then have your phone by the side should you want to do that, and you can see what you're looking at with the thermal. Record, take pictures, all the same, everything's still there. When you take the footage off this, I have noticed that when you're looking through it, the footage looks great. When you take it off, it seems to dull it down slightly. So I will put some up again as I'm talking. You'll see little bits, and then we'll sort of pop back in. But you'll see the difference in how it looks. I mean, without you actually looking through this yourself, you're never going to know. But yeah, you'll see the footage. Internal battery. So the battery in this is internal. It's not removable. You cannot change the battery in this. They do kind of, if you watch any other reviews on this, there's plenty of warehouses around the UK. It's not a problem. Should the battery have any issues or anything like that, it seems like it could be very quick to get this sorted. Personally, I've had this 6 months, never had an issue. It's never skipped a beat. The battery's always held. It's never drained. It's never failed on me. Yeah, I mean, it's a great bit of kit. This is where you charge it and also where you retrieve data. So you could put your cable in there and then into your laptop, and you can download it directly like that. Or, like I said before, there is an app, so you can do it on the go. So you can have an app open with your phone by its side, and you can take your data off as you record it. So it kind of, whatever you'd rather do with it. There's a nice rubber eyepiece here as well, sort of protect your eye when you're looking at it. But yeah, as a whole, for 400 to 470, I mean, I've seen it for, it's average about 449, I think, maybe cheaper some places if you're lucky. But I cannot discount this for a budget entry-level thermal. For someone who's trying to get into the thermal world, this is a winner. Do not discount it. Fantastic for the money. If you've got 400, 450 quid spare in your pocket and you want to get into the thermal world, that is the one. Now, very different beast. I'm lucky enough to be supported, sponsored, whatever you want to call it, by Greenfield's guns. Fantastic shop, massive selection of air rifles, rimfires, centerfires, shotguns, everything you can think of, clothing. They're a great shop. Hence the nice pretty Pulsar mat, and ultimately the Helion. Now, still a thermal, but it's a completely different animal. Let's get it out of the box. Don't know if you can see the box very well. The box, let me just show you before I do anything with it. The box is beautiful. It's like an Apple product. You can tell they put thought into this. It's quality. Flips open lovely. Let's put it aside just so I can get the bits out. Again, similar to the Hick. Quick start guide. Warranty card inside, and then the unit itself. And inside here you get the charging lead itself, standard, the plug that it pops in, and the nice thing I do like about this one is sort of skipping forward. This is an external battery, or a battery that you can remove, replace, have spares for. This is the cover for the top. I'll show you a bit more in a minute, and this is sort of a charging dock, if you like. Then the unit itself, you get a beautiful soft case. This has a belt clip here, which I find myself using more. I could, the same as with the Hick, you could put you know, a lanyard around it and have it around your neck. But as you'll see in a minute, this unit's a little bit bigger than that. But it does come here, if you can see these two buckles, there's a shoulder strap, so you can sort of have it on your shoulder. But I always find having this here, because you know, if you're carrying a rifle, you know, you could have other things on you, and to have this sat on your belt, I mean, I carry a pair of binoculars that sit on my chest, so to have this on the side of me is quite handy, so I can sort of reach for one or the other. Yeah, case, pop it open. And that's nice and soft inside. Let's put that aside. And then, just to be fancy, because thank you to Greenfields, we've got a nice little display here. There it is. So firstly, the weight, it's slightly bigger. It feels heavier. I wouldn't say that it's uncomfortable compared to the other one. The other one is a lot lighter, smaller, but you know, it's less technology in there. This is slightly heavier. You've got this nice leather strap, Pulsar branded strap, and it fits nicely in the hand. So when you're spotting, it doesn't feel uncomfortable. It doesn't feel unnatural in your hand. It fits nice. Personally, I like the look of it as well. It looks great. Pulsar branded on the side. All these little dots here don't look like they do a lot, but for grip, it does make a hell of a difference. Nice flip cover on the front there to protect the lens. Pop that back over. There's a focusing ring here, which you don't get on the Hick. These are just some differences you see when you sort of upgrade and spend a little bit more money with anything really. You get slightly more options. So this is sort of the front focus ring. So when you're looking through this part here, this is quite handy. This little rubber bit here, it'll kill out any light. So when you've got it up against your eye, any surrounding light will be cut out. This is what you will focus with. Much like any other thermal, the Hick included, there's buttons on the top. They're sort of designed to be natural. So when they're in your hand, after you've used it a little while, I can speak from experience, you sort of get used to where everything is. So yeah, power button here. And then there's a menu button. You sort of hold the menu down. Up and down arrows will take you up and down through the menus. The colour palettes in here. There's a lot more colour palettes compared to the Hick, as you would expect, just for the price you would pay. This also records. It's got an internal 16 gig memory. And you can take videos, record just the same as you can with the Hick. Although this has sound, it's optional, the sound. You can turn it on or off. Price. The price. So as I said, the Hick was $4 to $470, sometimes cheaper, sometimes around that range. The cheapest I found this, and if you find it any cheaper, do let me know, was about $2,000. And it can go up to $2,300. But believe me, if you have the money and you can spend that amount of money on this, you will get a massive jump in performance, features, quality, build quality, probably longevity. Yeah, battery life, it's around the same as the Hick, 9 to 10 hours. I've not tested this to its full. 9 hours sounds about right. I have run it flat. I've fully charged it and then run it flat, but just because I was being a child and I was having so much fun with it, I was out with it constantly in the front garden and, you know, everywhere with it. So yeah, I believe the battery is equally as good. Again, still has a tripod feature in the bottom here, so there, little tripod attachment, so you can have this on a tripod. I'll upload a little picture because I've had it up on that just for spotting, so I'll put that up for you. Distance wise, so as I said with the Hick, you're looking at, you know, 30 to 60 yards, very accurate, identifiable targets, whether it be a rabbit, a rat, up to a deer. At that sort of length, you will know 100% what it is. And then I said out to 100, 150 yards, you're still going to see there's a heat source there. This thing, well, they say the distance up to 1,800 yards. I mean, round it up to 2,000 yards. App. So as with the Hick, they have their own app. They have multiple different apps you can use, but they have their own branded one. Pulsar have Stream Vision 2, does exactly the same thing. So internal Wi-Fi, so when you get into the menu you can turn the Wi-Fi on, and then you would load up your app. Let's put it on there, make it look prettier. So you would load up the app on your phone, and it brings it up and it knows exactly what device it is, and it will ask you viewfinder or device storage. So viewfinder would be the one where you would click and it sort of gives you the live view of what you're seeing. So when you're moving this around and you have your phone in your hand, whatever you're pointing this at, you will see on your phone. At the same time, you can record either through the device itself, hitting record, which you do by this button here. Press it once for a picture, hold it down for record, and then it will start the video. And when you're looking through the screen, you can see all them options. You can also go into device storage, which will bring up sort of the memory of the device. So anything you've saved previous, any pictures, any videos, you'll see from previous, and you can download them one at a time or all at once. And then, as I said with the HIC, so when you download them, the HIC sort of dulled it down slightly, which you'll see, or you would have seen already. Pulsar, from experience so far, anything that I've took off this device and downloaded, there's barely any change in the footage. It's fantastic. Battery. So battery. This one has an external battery, or a removable, interchangeable, spare, stroke, whatever you want battery. And how that works is here, the battery sort of sits here and there's a clip, and you pop this up, the battery just pulls out nice and easy like that. And like I said with the charging dock, pop it on the charging dock, close it up, off you go, and it charges. And then it's as easy as just putting it back in, he says, and then closing the clip back down, and you're good to go. Who it's aimed at, so like I said with the HIC, that is aimed at air gunners, I would say. If you're trying to identify fox, deer, if you're going out foxing, I wouldn't say the HIC is the right one for you. I mean, you can by all means use it for that, but if you want accurate identification, great image quality, the HIC is good for air gunning, rabbiting up to 40-50 yards. And like me, when you got into thermal, 470 quid, still a lot of money for someone like me, but I was not complaining and still am not. It is a fantastic unit for what it is. Does its job, what it's designed to do. They don't claim that it's supposed to do any more than what it is designed to do. Who this is aimed at, I would say, is, you know, your professional stalkers, gamekeepers, someone who does this for a living, who can justify spending £2,000 to £3,000 on a unit. They're both firmware upgradable as well, so you know both companies do offer upgradable firmware. You can plug it in and it will upgrade and do like it does with your iPhone or Android or whatever it is you want. But yeah, this is for any purpose, all the way from ratting, and that's from experience. I have took this out ratting multiple times, all the way through to deer stalking. Again, I have took it deer stalking multiple times, and it will do from one level all the way through to the next, and it won't skip a beat, won't break a sweat. It is incredible, absolutely fantastic piece of equipment. But you spend the money, that's what you get. Obviously you're going to get more excited about something like this, but I can't discount the HIC as well. Two very different beasts, but both thermal spotters both do what they're supposed to do. Identify heat to make life easier. If you have night vision, that's always great, but these will change everything. So if you've never tried thermal before, I would guarantee that if you picked one of these up, whether it be the HIC, the small, you know, 470, all the way through to this, is going to change your shooting massively, and you won't go back, believe me. So yeah, that's the two separate units, pros and cons. So the pros of this one, it's cheap. I mean, I say it's cheap, but it is cheap. In the thermal world, that is cheap. The battery life is fantastic. It's brilliant. It's not like, you know, you have a new iPhone that costs the world, but the battery life is shocking. It will die in a day. This thing is cheap in the thermal world, cheaper than an iPhone, and the battery will last what it says. You know, you've got a good 10 hours out of it, and if you know you're out hunting and stuff, I'm not target shooting, I'm a hunter, so you go out and you take this with you, that's 2-3 sessions. It does what it's supposed to do. The packaging is fantastic, it's robust, it's well protected, it looks quality, super easy to use, and a lot of features packed into a relatively cheap unit. Not all these thermals out there, even some of the Pulsar ones, don't have recordability. They don't take pictures, they don't record. This thing sort of does it all. It's everything in a small, cheap unit. Yeah, a lot of features. Cons of this one, distance, that's all, but it's not really a con. It doesn't sell itself to be a deer stalking unit. This is out there for the air gunners. That's what it's for, and it does the job. So, but if you want distance, that's what it is. The other con, the main one I would say, is when you pull the footage off, it's not great. It looks okay, which you'll see, but believe me, the footage you're seeing on this video here is not what it looks like through your eye. Through your eye, it looks better. You have to take my word for that. It will look better when you're looking through the actual spotter itself. So yeah, that's the Hick. Pros and cons of this one. Pros, distance. You've got a much further reach, both identification and even just picking up heat sensors. You know, if you're like in the bushes, for example, like if you're looking at a tree line 300, 400, 500 yards away through the naked eye, or even through this other unit, you wouldn't know it was there. This thing, it will pick up the slightest little heat. Even if it's a pigeon sat in a tree or something, this thing will know it's there. Like, you can see the unseen with this thing. Pros, what else? Yeah, the features, the color palettes, there's a lot more. So I took this out in heavy fog very recently. I'll actually upload that now so you can see. There's a deer, few deer there in the heavy fog. It was really, really heavy fog, you know. I mean, we were 20 yards away from these deer, 30 yards, they didn't know we were there. This thing was cutting straight through it. You would not get that with that Hick, at least. I'm sure the bigger models you would, but I can't talk from experience. The leather strap. I know I keep saying about the leather strap, but that is a pro. It's a fantastic idea. It does help. Sort of fits in your hand. If you're a bit, you know, butterfingered and you slightly drop it, it's there in your hand. It's going to save it. Lens cap, always a pro. Focus, a pro. This one here obviously is a focus as well. That's just for your eye when you're looking at it. The other one is removable battery. With the Hick, you don't have that. It's an internal battery. So with this one, you know, some people take these things out for a week at a time out in the wilderness. You know, the rifle, their pack, and the thumb. You know, stove, some food. A couple of spare batteries, no problem with this. As long as you got them charged up, you can just pop this out, put a new one in. I quite like this. It's such a small feature to have, but that does make a difference. You know, if you're looking at it through like this and then you pop this on, the light difference is very different. You will notice it. I quite like that. It's cool. Cons, it's expensive, man. This is expensive, expensive, expensive. Pulsar, this sort of unit is top of the range, or up there, top shelf thermal. It's a lot of money. If you have the money, great, it's not a worry. If you can justify it, great, not a worry. So that's the two. Hope that was helpful. I know that the price is massively different, but I wanted to sort of give you a real life review of entry level all the way up to what you can get if you have the money. So this is just based on experience. I've been lucky enough to be able to use this and then own this. So yeah, there's the two units. Hope you enjoyed it. If you like the video, please like, please subscribe. This is sort of my first few YouTube videos, and there'll be many more to come. Reviews, hunting videos. I want to say thanks to Greenfields. Yeah, and well done Pulsar, and well done Hick. Fantastic. Till next time, Camo Kev.